Welcome to the WTR Healthcare Happenings podcast. I'm your host, Tim Gerdeman, Vice Chair and Co-founder and Chief Marketing Officer of Water Tower Research. In today's podcast episode, I am joined by Stephen Rodgers, Head of Global Planning and Strategy at SBC Medical Group Holdings, NASDAQ, ticker symbol SBC. Also joining is WTR's healthcare analyst, Robert Sassoon. SBC Medical is a medical services organization operating a wide range of franchise businesses across diverse medical fields, including advanced aesthetic healthcare, dermatology, orthopedics, fertility treatment, gynecology, dentistry, alopecia treatment, and ophthalmology. The company manages a diverse portfolio of clinic brands and is actively expanding its global presence, particularly in the US and Asia, through both direct operations and medical tourism initiatives. Welcome to today's podcast, Stephen and Robert.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Tim, and good morning, Stephen.
Stephen, to kick things off, could you please begin by telling our audience a bit about your professional background, which they always appreciate, and then provide a high-level overview of SBC Medical and the business foundation that was built in Japan?
Sure, absolutely. So I lead the global planning and strategy team at SBC, which is responsible for our go-to-market strategy over everything outside of Japan, as well as managing all of our international partnerships and relationships to support our Japan business. I joined the company last April in 2025, so it's been a little over a year. Previously worked at Amazon as part of the corporate development team doing mergers and acquisitions, and helping lead a number of high-profile deals there, such as their One Medical acquisition. And before that, I lived in Japan for 10 years. So a lot of experience living and working in Japan, understanding the challenges of Japanese companies trying to go global. And so when this opportunity came to me last year, of being able to support SBC and their global initiative, I got really excited, especially as I started to learn more about their business. So a little bit about SBC. The company actually started 25 years ago by Yoshiyuki Aikawa. He started as a plastic surgery clinic, and then organically grew the business, adding additional surgical clinics, then including dermatology, and then expanding out into medical fields as well. So today we have 283 locations with about 2.1 million unique customers and a 72% repeat rate. So on average, our customers are visiting us about 3 times a year, which really speaks to the level of trust and I would say dedication that our customers have in terms of coming to SBC clinics. We are a medical service organization, so we provide all of the branding, marketing, procurement, IT, recruitment, training, basically all the services to all of the different clinics so that they can operate and really focus on the treatments themselves. And so we've built a really powerful infrastructure, not only for the aesthetic clinics, but also for the broader medical industry as well. So the business is continuing to grow. And over the last year, not only continue to grow in Japan, but it's now growing overseas with our partnership with Orange Twist in the US, and then some acquisitions in Singapore and some other partnerships in some other countries as well. So a lot going on with the business.
That's a really helpful overview. I appreciate it. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that Japan is one of my favorite countries in the world. I spent a tremendous amount of time in my 20s with a management consulting firm there. It's an incredible country. So with that, I'll turn it over to Robert.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. And Stephen, let me start by asking you how SBC built its dominant number one position and why has no one been able to replicate this business model in the past 26 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd say SBC is very unique in a few ways. One is that it has a very long history. It started 25 years ago as a surgical clinic and then kind of organically grew out. And when it first started, the emphasis of the business was really on providing great operations and care, and making sure that we're really at SBC. We always say we want to provide more value to the patient than what they're paying for, which sounds really simple, but it's a really important fundamental philosophy of how we treat our customers that come through our doors. So we invest a lot of time and effort in making sure we're making good hiring decisions. We spend a lot of time on training and making sure that all of our doctors are able to provide the highest quality care. We spend a lot of time in terms of making sure they have the best equipment and the best devices available. So we really spend a lot of time to make sure that the care itself is best in class. And we also make sure that everything is very transparent. So especially in Japan, where people value trust and transparency, that's one of the key values I would say our customers really care about. And so they want to make sure that they're getting reliable, safe, consistent care across all of the clinics. And so what that's done is it's just built a lot of trust. And so this is trust that's been being built over the last 25 years. And we see that trust manifest itself through these repeat visits. Like I said before, we get about a 72% repeat rate. So they visit on average 3 times a year. And this is just creating just so much scalability in the business. So we're just seeing a lot of 2 million visitors, 6 million visits, a lot of repeat data. This allows us to better refine our training programs. It's allowing us to refine our protocols, our treatment plans, and just get smarter about how we do the business. So really develop a scalable platform. So with so many visitors and so many clinics now, we can offer and procure a lot of different devices and a lot of different treatments. So we're probably one of the top companies in the world that offers just the most diverse level of different aesthetic and dermatology and cosmetic treatments that you can get, and at a really affordable price too. So we've grown to 283 clinics globally. And I think right now we're maybe one of the largest in the world in terms of aesthetic clinics. And so we're continuing to grow and see a lot of positive things continue to manifest and take advantage of new technologies. And right now, I'd just say that what's really challenging is that we've developed this over 25 years, and the entry barrier for other clinics or other groups is pretty high. There's just such a huge data gap, and I would say a trust gap. SBC is very well known in Japan. That's taken a really long time to build that. So it's really hard for a competitor to come in and just replicate that from day one. There is a lot of competition in Japan, but I would say it's really more individual clinics, individual doctors with their specialty practices. But no one has been able to replicate at scale what SBC has done over the last 25 years.
So following on to that, what's the strategic rationale for expanding beyond aesthetics, and why orthopedics, fertility, dentistry, and general medical fields?
Yeah, so SBC has always had a vision of not just being an aesthetic clinic company, but being a broader medical company and being the top medical company in Japan. So over the years, the infrastructure that's being built has been for that purpose, to be able to support not only cosmetic and aesthetic companies, but also to support medical clinics as well. So has always been part of the mission and vision. And expanding into that too just gives us a lot of flexibility in how we grow the business as well, and adds different revenue pillars. So, we've been in the aesthetic business, which is a cash pay, and it's very highly profitable. But expanding into the medical field gives us a lot more flexibility to be able to tap into different demographic groups and to other areas that are growing in Japan, which include orthopedics, fertility, dentistry, pediatrics. So we're continuing to grow in this field. Right now, it's about 14% of our total business in Japan.
So you're also looking at longevity. So why is that seemingly at the center of your mid to long-term vision?
Yeah, I think everyone's just trying to live longer, live forever these days. It's definitely a hot topic for sure. So especially in the US, this is just such a fast growing area, where it just feels like every day there's a new longevity clinic or biomarker testing company. So there's definitely a lot of growth and excitement in this space. And it gets us really excited too. And right now, the longevity market in Japan is about $34 billion. It's about 8.5 times the aesthetic healthcare market. So there's huge potential for further growth for SBC. And right now, there's really been no major longevity players in the market like there is in the US. So already in the US, you have a lot of biomarker testing companies. You can get your biomarkers tested. You can use AI to have a curated supplement and diet planning, protocol. There's clinics here. You can do yearly MRIs. But in Japan, there's really nothing at this point. It's still very nascent. And so we're really excited to understand, one, the market here and how can we leverage some of the services and technologies that we're seeing to bring it over to Japan, because it really is still pretty new, but nobody's really started to take advantage of it yet in Japan. So we're really excited about that, and we feel like we can get first mover advantage in Japan.
Okay, I mean, I guess the aging demographics in Japan make it an interesting market too. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
can you walk us through how you plan to win in the longevity market?
Yeah, so we've already started an initiative called SBC Wellness 2.0. So SBC Wellness is actually our B2B corporate program. We have about 160 businesses signed up for it with about 60,000 or so employees. And so this is a program that offers health services. And so we're using this to start implementing what I was talking about before, some of these longevity diagnostic tools and AI tools like biomarker testing, curated protocol treatments for individuals, being able to use our clinics to offer new longevity treatments. So there's a lot of cool things happening in that space. And also too, I would just say that there's a lot of growing demand for it in not only in the US but in Japan too, where there's just fundamentally a shift in terms of expectations, in terms of what people want. Instead of a reactive kind of healthcare system, there's a lot more of a proactive approach where people want to get ahead of the curve. They want to know, more about their current health, current risks, how to optimize how they currently feel, and then how do they mitigate any potential future risks. And so I think there's really a huge demand for this in Japan. And so we're going to start rolling this out through our SBC Wellness 2.0 program this year. And so we're really excited about that. In the US, we do have a partnership with Orange Twist. They have about 24 clinics, and they're starting to slowly roll out longevity, treatments as well. You can get NAD shots, B12 shots. They're starting to do some cool things there. And so we're working with them on their strategy in terms of what does longevity look like in the med spa aesthetic space in the US. So we're really excited about how we can do some cool things in Japan as well as what's happening here in the US.
Stephen, an extemporaneous question for you because I'm a longevity freak in a good way. So in the United States, the discussions even move beyond longevity to health span, as I'm sure you're aware of, which means really the quality of life while you're alive, rather than just trying to get to 100 but being miserable for the last 20 years. Is that starting to happen in Asia as well, and in Japan in particular, where they're starting to develop an appreciation and understanding of this concept of health span versus lifespan?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would still say it's pretty nascent, like having your biological age versus your chronological age.
Right.
And that's actually one thing that we're starting with is starting to test that and bring that concept more to light, because that is something that is kind of growing and becoming more popular within the mainstream, even in Japan as well. So, but totally agree. I think that's I'd say where the US is like pretty far advanced. Japan is still probably a couple years behind. So I think this is a really great opportunity for SBC to take advantage of that and to start looking at what are we doing here and how can we leverage some of the cool, there's so many biomarker testing companies that are testing for that. What's your biological age? What are the factors that are playing into that? How can you optimize, and then how can we potentially improve that? So we're looking at a lot of cool partners right now here in the US that we can bring over to Japan.
That's great. Robert?
Yeah.
So let's move away from Japan a bit. Can you tell us a bit about SBC's business in the US?
Absolutely. Yeah. So as part of SBC's global expansion strategy, we were thinking through how do we best leverage the model in Japan. So Japan SBC is really, in a lot of ways, the business is purpose built for Japan. And so just copying and pasting it into other markets didn't seem to make sense for us. And so we've really shied away from de novo builds and building from scratch, and instead focus on an approach of how can we partner with really strong local players who have a good leadership team and good infrastructure. So for the US, we found a company called Orange Twist, which is a luxury med spa business. They have now 24 clinics, primarily on the West Coast. What we really liked is one, they have just an amazing patient care model, and their treatments really align with what we're already doing in Japan. And we feel like this is a great area for us to figure out ways to collaborate, to leverage things that we're doing really well in Japan and bring it to the US and kind of enhance the Orange Twist business, as well as jointly build some things with them as well, potentially some longevity clinics or some other types of clinics. So we invested in them end of last year. They had 18 clinics. They've now expanded to 24. And they're our main engine for continuing to grow in the med spa space in the US. And then we're also continuing to look for other partners in other fields as well, such as in the longevity field and maybe some of the other medical fields as well. But Orange Twist has been our primary partner, and we're really excited about working with them and doing some cool things with them. And then we've also acquired a AHH clinic in Singapore. So this is a 20 clinic group in Singapore. And then we have a partnership in Thailand and then a clinic in Vietnam. So globally, we've continued to expand, but we're very excited about the US as well as Southeast Asia.
Yeah, sounds really, really expansive. So final question from me.
Yeah.
Are there any other key drivers that you would like to talk about that are enabling and driving your strategy?
I think probably one big thing is the buzzword that everyone talks about and says, but AI. I'd still say that in the aesthetic field and in the medical field, AI is still not widely utilized to the extent that it's being utilized in other fields. Especially coming from Amazon, it just seemed like it was fundamentally a part of every aspect of the business, but it's been very slow adoption. SBC has been pretty aggressive about wanting to use it and implement it and find ways how we can optimize our business. So we're continuing to look at different AI technologies in terms of optimizing our operations to make sure that we're providing really great services and also improving our bottom line. And then also to how can we use AI models to improve the clinic experience for customers? What cool technologies are there in terms of diagnostic tools? And if we're looking at people with dermatological issues or other things, and then how can we also use AI to just improve the overall, doctor experience too? So there's a lot of things that we're looking at it. We also are sitting on a massive data assets. So over the years, we've actually run a program in Japan. It's called the monitoring program, where we'll give you a discounted price for any treatment if you allow us to do a before and after photo. So if you come in for a treatment, we'll take a before picture, and then after your treatments, we'll bring you back in and we'll take an after picture, and then we can use that as part of our marketing and tools. And you get a discount on your treatment as well. So it's great for everyone. But we're still sitting on millions and millions of pictures and data assets that we feel like we could use as part of our own AI modeling and tools that would be helpful for things like skin analysis, skin simulations, things like that. So I think we're sitting on a very unique mountain of data that no one else in the world has. So I think that's one thing that we can start thinking about how we're going to leverage. We've also brought in a new CTO, Xiao, who's also obviously very AI driven. So the business itself has fundamentally been really focused on the clinic side. And over the last few years, SBC has begun to build out its more operational infrastructure and kind of mature a little bit more. So we brought in a new CTO, we brought in a new marketing officer as well, and really begin to build out some of those functions to make sure that we're optimizing all parts of the business. But I think we're laying the groundwork and we're feeling really confident about 2026.
Well, thanks for all of that and taking us through SBC Medical and the corporate strategy. And it seems like you've got a very interesting future ahead. Wishing you every success, and I'll pass it back to Tim.
Thanks, Robert. Stephen Rodgers, thanks for joining us today to discuss SBC Medical Group. I would mirror what Robert said. I think you're in a great space. The numbers speak for themselves in terms of the population looking to live longer and healthier while they live. So I think, as they say on Wall Street, the trend is your friend. So thanks for your time.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, as well as visiting www.watertowerresearch.com to stay up to speed on the company's small cap written research reports, podcasts, fireside chats, industry-specific symposiums, and conference schedules. We will see you next time for another edition of the WTR Healthcare Happenings podcast. Finally, a special thanks to the producer and editor of the podcast, Krista Fitzpatrick.